Actors, we've all got issues, so let's talk about them. I'm Juan Ayala, and welcome to Actors with Issues. Each week, we bring you interviews with actors from across TV, film, and Broadway, taking many deep dives into their careers and getting into the successes, the struggles, and of course, the issues that they face as actors. That's enough about us. Let's dive into the episode. Joining us today for a special group interview is the cast of Netflix's Freeridge. Please welcome to the stage Keyla Monterosso Mejia, Tenzing Norgay Trainor, Ciara Riley Wilson, and Bryana Salaz. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
On My Block was such a favorite show of mine. It was actually, I actually looked back. It was actually the first review I ever wrote for TV back in 2017. So I watched it all the way through, and I'm so excited for audiences to watch Freeridge. I binged the entire thing before today. It's a nice press thing. You get to see things in advance. But how's everyone feeling? Excited, nervous, a bit of both?
All of the feelings.
All of
once.
everything you just said.
Yeah.
And more.
So, despite being younger than most actors when they get their start, usually most start sort of like in high school or in college. You guys have beat them all when it comes to your sort of like level of experience. What would you say was the biggest lesson you learned working on Freeridge?
That's a great question.
Wow. You can never be too prepared.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
You can never be too prepared. That is a myth. Just, I think things, we moved so quickly and we had so many different, whether it's fight scenes or group scenes or party scenes. I think being as prepared as you can will always serve.
That will save your mental health on set 100%. Like knowing your stuff, it just saves all of the anxiety that there's already so much going on, like you said. So to just know it and be able to just show up is
I think the biggest thing I learned was like healing my perfectionism, because we moved so fast. It was like I kind of had to, there wasn't time for me to be like, I didn't like that one, let's try again. It was like, just trust what you did was great and move on. So it was very healing.
I think like managing your time, because like we would shoot so late and like have to be up and then get ready for the next day. So being able to like get those little like hours of sleep, but then have your lines ready, and also how to be professional thanks to these professional actors next to me. So those two things definitely.
And I'm curious because you've each done comedies before, but sort of in different subgenres. So Tenzing, you did, you worked on a lot of sort of multicam, and Keyla, you did a show that's very improv heavy with sort of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So what would you say was like the biggest differences working between these different subgenres? Was this one easier or was it a bit more difficult?
It's definitely compared to multicam, it's definitely more difficult, but I find it more fulfilling as an actor. I think that it's like it's so cool, the things that we accomplish every day, and like the time that goes into it. I don't really have a preference, they are each great in their own way. But yeah, I would say like the whole time thing, like multicam is pretty much 9 to 5, almost every day. You film 2 days a week. And then here we're filming every single day. Sometimes we start at 6 a.m. Other days we start at 5 p.m. and go until 3 a.m. So it's you never know.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say, I don't really have a favorite, but they're just so different and they prepare me in different ways. And I think improv is such a beast on its own, and I have so much respect for people who do it very well. And I think being on that show made me feel more prepared as an actress to take on Freeridge after it. So it was interesting, and they were both completely different experiences, but there's just so much fun. I don't think I could pick.
And Ciara and Bryana, have you noticed any differences working in other types of comedies or in other genres in general between that and this?
Oh, 100%. In fact, the last show that I did was on this lot, Team Kaylee, and that was a multi-cam show. And the way that I describe it to like my family or something to describe the difference is like single cam, you're filming every day and you're on location, and multicam is more of like theater in front of cameras. You rehearse, you have your blocking, it's literally a show. You have a live audience, and it's just like theater, but you get multiple takes. And so, it's fun to be able to do. And then to go from like children's TV into more young adult and stepping into that, to be able to finally tap into more mature content and take that step has been so fulfilling for me as an actress too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I just love a single cam being like every day is completely different, kind of like what you were saying, where you just never know what you're gonna get. And it's really fun. It's very fun and exciting.
And similarly, would you say there are any particular challenges with your characters and with sort of the content of the show? What was maybe the biggest challenge that each of you experienced?
I think for me was the pacing of the show.
Mhm.
I think we all have to, because of the tone, it's very quick paced, and English is not my first language. And so there's a lot of times where I'm like, you can't understand what I'm saying. And even like some of the time, oh my God, there's like how you're always so nitpicky with yourself. There's like a line in the first episode where I just say, what? It's just what? And I say, what? It's like, damn it. And it seems like that just I had a hard time speaking quickly and clearly.
Yeah.
Pacing is definitely a big thing on our show, and
Yeah.
they really instilled it into us, like our showrunners, like that, to keep it fast. But for Cameron, I would say like having to navigate his emotions throughout the story, and differentiate his relationships. Like he doesn't talk to Demi the same way that he talks to Gloria, or the same way that he talks to Andre. And he goes through all the emotions with each one of them. So yeah.
I think for me, just tapping into Ines's whole demeanor was so new for me, because I'm not a blunt person. I'm very like passive, and like I don't like to cause a ruckus or a scene, and Ines does. And she's very outspoken, and she just taught me a lot. And so I think having to learn how to like bring that out of myself and make that believable, it was difficult at first, but then when I understood where she was coming from, that's where I was able to be like, oh, I get her. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think the hardest part for me playing Demi was definitely justifying her actions and still finding love and care, even though she makes mistakes. And I'm bisexual in real life, and the storyline with Demi, saying those hurtful things was really hard for me to tap into her shoes. And I had to really like find a lot of love and care for those situations. And it helped me like forgive a lot of people in my own life, knowing like where they were coming from, and knowing like people can grow and change. But it was definitely like a battle trying to not have like resistance in my own mind and really like sit in my character and love her despite.
So we have just a few minutes left, so I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I'm sure you're doing a ton of interviews today. But just sort of speaking on that, with the name of our show being Actors with Issues, and that's not to suggest that any of you have any issues, but we have all dealt with plenty. Depends who you ask, I guess. But what would you say is a career obstacle that you could sort of shed some advice on for our audience of young actors and artists, things, maybe folks who want to be where you are?
The first thing that came to mind is like getting over a fear of rejection. Like there are so many things that actors audition for that they just don't get. And it can be like they don't even get a callback, or they get all the way to the final stage and then they end up not getting it. So once you get over that fear of like having no said to your face, then I think that, that's when you really excel, because you just do things just because, without any fear.
Yeah.
I think also, go ahead.
No, I was just to piggyback, and you learn really quickly that like it's not personal. It has nothing to do with you or your talent. Like it took me a long time to realize that you either are the character or you aren't. And like I noticed that in my self-tapes when I originally auditioned for Gloria, and which is crazy. Like that's how I found out about that's how and I read it and I was like, this isn't me. Like when I saw the script, I was like, I emailed my agent, I was like, I'm not Gloria. And they were like, no, you're not. And they were like, who else? And then they sent me Ines, and that's when it clicked in my head of like, it has nothing to do with you or your skill level, your experience. It literally is just, do you fit the character?
Exactly.
Is that you?
That's
like
literally what I was gonna say is the biggest lesson I've learned is you cannot control how people perceive you. No matter how hard you try. You just have to trust yourself and be yourself, and the right things will come.
I think I've learned to lead with gratitude. Something about gratitude, when you put it out into the universe, no matter where it is, like even when you have to do free work or short films or student films or things where you're not getting paid anything and you're just doing it to help someone out, if you feel grateful that just for that time you get to act, no matter what it is, it's so powerful. I think
So
it
true.
comes back to you. And like even in the things that you don't want to do, gratitude is, I can't explain it. I think
She does.
it's
Like literally after everything, she goes, "I'm so thankful. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful. I'm so
No,
grateful."
I took a picture on the red carpet. She goes, thank you. It's powerful. And I
Yeah.
think if you can tap into that, the universe will reward you in ways that you can't even imagine.
Amen.
So we always sort of end with a quick game called Now That We Know You, since we've gotten to get to know all of you a little bit. So we're gonna just go down the line. We'll start with Tenzing. So Tenzing, fill in the blank. If I weren't working in the arts, I'd be.
Going to school full time.
Bryana, what role have you had the most fun playing?
Ines, literally, she's the best. I love her.
Ciara, what is the best advice you've ever gotten?
If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm so happy that was beautiful.
I love that.
And Keyla, what is the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Was I don't remember exactly what it was because it was like not good, but I remember someone told me like if you act like you own the place, like people will like treat you in that way.
Oh,
I don't think it's a good advice. I think if you're kind to people, that'll take you far. You don't have to be like someone that you're not and act like if you feel uncomfortable about something or if you're like yeah. Like it's okay, act like it. Don't like because 10 times out of 10 other people are also feeling that way.
Yeah.
And you come in like it's not good. So that was bad advice and I don't recommend it. Except with confidence. Fake it till you make it.
And this one's for each of you. If you could have dinner with any actor, dead or alive, who would it be?
actor. Oh gosh.
Actor or actress?
Ozo! I love her. Ozo, yeah. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. Who?
Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black.
Yes. Sarah Paulson,
Oh.
my gay scream queen. Love her.
What?
Met my queen.
We did an animated movie together.
What did you just say to me? This
Oh
is
god.
talking about.
Uh, you don't want to go first?
No. I mean, I don't know why I say that.
Yeah, I definitely have a list. I'm just trying to pick one person. I'm just gonna say Steve Carell, because I
choice.
love, or actually Bryan Cranston. Just going from what was Malcolm in the Middle to like Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Like that is crazy.
I heard this book, sorry.
Great tequila too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna cheat and say just the whole cast of Babylon. I just want to know what it was like living for them in a big dinner setting.
She loves Babylon.
I love Babylon.
And lastly, in 10 words or less, what advice would you give to a young actor?
You are not difficult to work with. You are difficult to take advantage of.
Wow.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Go ahead, Kate.
Everything is gonna work out.
Amen.
We should have started and then kept the advice going.
Oh my god, I got a good idea. Okay. I don't know. I liked what I said with you can't control how people perceive you. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. And folks, for everyone listening, you can catch the first season of Freeridge streaming on Netflix starting February 2nd. And you know the drill, you can follow us on Instagram at Actors with Issues. Follow me at Juan Ayala Official and subscribe to our show on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts for new episodes every Monday and bonus episodes throughout the week. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Juan Ayala. This is Actors with Issues, and we'll see you next week.